Alright, well, quick review of the knockoff tripod that I ordered for the GoPro on eBay. It just broke while we were driving, so it's kind of just hanging here now. I guess that's as good as we're going to get to the angle. So we're just going to do that now. It's probably going to fall again. Guess we'll be ordering a new one. Alright, well, anyway. So now that I've had the Model 3 for almost 2 weeks and have been driving it around town a bit, have a couple of additional thoughts on it versus the old one, and also just as a kind of new owner again. So especially now having it again, you know, kind of as a new car and thinking about the experience again, a couple of things that I've noticed. So first of all, biggest difference from the old one that I had. Old one was a 2019 standard range. This is a 2022 long range. So the range is obviously a big difference. I think the old one at 100% gave about 215 to 20 miles, at least quoted, but Teslas are kind of notorious for often performing less mileage than what the car actually says. And so, you know, on a day-to-day basis, charging to about 80%, I think took to about 170 to 180 miles. Whereas this one, let's see, I'm on 96% right now, and it's saying 342 miles. I think at 100% it was saying 360. At 80% for a day-to-day basis, which I try to do to not overcharge and degrade the batteries, it shows, actually I don't totally remember. I've only done that like once. I think it was like 270, 280, something like that. I mean, actually maybe almost 300. And that makes a big difference. First of all, I don't have to charge it nearly as often. I've only charged it once so far in 2 weeks. And that was really just to get it as full as possible for this long drive. But it does seem to just live, last forever. The other big difference though with having that long range is that the charging takes significantly longer. So whereas the standard range I could top up and you know, see a larger percentage increase even, you know, in a couple of hours, this one I pretty much have to charge it overnight if I want to go, you know, from anywhere close to zero back up to even like 80%. Last night, actually we charged both cars one right after the other, so the wall charger started overheating and the car gave me a warning, so I just swapped out the two chargers and it was fine. But at one point it was, or I think optimally it was telling me about 7.5 to 8 hours to fully charge from about 10% or so. When it was like overheating, it was actually telling me that it was going to be closer to, it actually said 24 hours plus. Another big difference, well, I guess, you know, with that extra range just means a lot more options and flexibility. You can go much further, don't have to worry about where the superchargers are, which is honestly never a problem anyway, because they're pretty much always where you need to go. There's at least some option along the way. But, you know, just not even having to think about it and add the time for charging and everything is really nice too. So definitely glad that we did the long range this time. So another difference with this car versus the standard range, so this is a all-wheel drive dual motor that you get in the long range. The standard range is just rear-wheel drive, single motor in the back, party in the front, and you don't feel too much of a difference with it. Car feels a little bit more connected to the road. If you like really stomp the accelerator, you feel the a little bit more traction from the front than you did in the standard range, but it's honestly not super different. Feel it a little bit more in the turns too. It hugs a little bit tighter. So overall just feels a little bit nicer, even more kind of performance-y than the standard range did. Driving through Chatham right now, really nice town. There's actually a Kia EV, was it EV6 over there. Kind of boring in the beige color, but it is a cool looking car. You notice it as immediately obvious to me. I'll also be very interested to see with this car how the wheels all hold up and if the wear on them is a little bit more even than it was with the standard range. When I turned in the Lease on the standard range one, the rear two tires were both pretty chewed up for a car with only 25,000 miles on it, and both needed to be replaced. Yes. And another question that I get a lot about the car is how the build quality is. I think, you know, Tesla's built up a reputation, somewhat earned, but I think, you know, a bit hyperbolic, that the build quality is, you know, terrible. There's all these panel gaps everywhere, things just fall off, things aren't attached right, and you know, I can't say that doesn't happen at all. There's definitely some little things that you kind of pass off as Tesla-isms that really probably shouldn't be there on a car of this price, especially as they've crept up in price. But you know, on this one, definitely feels like it's better put together than the old one was. I don't know if that's just they've gotten better in the last 3 years, or this car happens to be a little bit better, or what. But you know, not that the other one was bad, but it was a little bit more creaky and stuff. This one is very well put together. I don't notice any creaks, squeaks, squeals, or anything like that. Nothing feels loose in it. Haven't noticed anything where, you know, something seems like it's not properly installed or attached. All the paint looks great, although it's already getting a bit dingy, and I think we've got a couple of, like, you know, little surface scratches on it. So yeah, happens. So talking about the Lease return, I know I talked about it in the video for when I picked this up, but in the meantime, all of that got settled and closed out. Nothing unexpected there. I ended up getting charged for the rear tire wear, for the I guess resurfacing needed to address the wear and the scuffs on the 3 of the 4 wheels, and then there was a disposition fee, and that was it. So nothing about the charger that I forgot to give back to them, nothing about the keys I forgot to give, and no issues with the license plate that I had a hard time getting off. So Lease return was probably the easiest part of the entire process. I mean, it was all very easy, but all that involved was signing a single piece of paper, leaving the car there, and walking away. They were able to get into it without any keys and take it back, and now it's out of my app and everything. Took maybe a little bit less than a week, maybe like 5 days or so. So another thing that I have noticed with this compared to the other one, not that it's a difference that they've created in the meantime or anything, but I have the free 30-day initial trial on the premium connectivity, which has been somewhat nice, but not enough of a difference really that I've noticed that I'm going to feel like I need to sign up for it or anything. But you know, it gives you all of the internet streaming, allows you even to stream videos over cell service, and also gives you real-time traffic on the maps. Well, actually, let's check that out and see.
Still in traffic?
Yeah, but it's going to be traffic like almost the whole way. Oh, actually, it's not that bad. It's mostly, yeah, it doesn't look like traffic's too bad along the shore itself. It's only kind of getting over there.
And what's that red stuff?
That's where all the traffic is.
It's all allowed?
Yeah, but
we're not going there.
yeah, we're only going on the blue part.
Yeah, we're almost out of traffic.
So that's kind of nice to be able to see that there. Although it's not like it makes a difference in the routing itself. The routing takes traffic into effect anyway, and it'll reroute you if traffic conditions get worse automatically anyway. There's really only being able to see the different colored lines on the map. The streaming has been nice, but since I don't use Spotify, that doesn't really make a difference. Don't use Deezer or what else do they have? TuneIn or whatever. I've just been using the like Tesla's sort of branded streaming, which I think is through what is it actually? Slacker Radio. So it's, you know, just radio stations that you can put on, no ads or anything, but you can't really like pick the specific songs or anything. So it's fine. If they add Apple Music there, that might be enough to get me to pay for it, but as it stands right now, just not enough utility for me. Haven't really noticed any difference with Autopilot versus the old car. So the old car had radar sensors in it for distance control and controlling the autopilot.
Ew.
This one uses cameras only, but it doesn't seem like it affects anything really. Initially, the camera-only cars were only able to set a maximum speed of 80 miles an hour, but they've since increased that to 85 anyway, and I think that essentially brings it to the same as the old radar, LiDAR powered cars anyway. So no noticeable difference in how it actually drives on autopilot. It seems to be just as good. Beavis and Butthead back there chortling.
Oh, I farted! Stop.
Alright, so one of the major hardware differences between this car and the old one is that they added, I guess, 2 speakers on the outside of the car, one in the front and one in the back, to do the sounds that EVs are required to have for pedestrian warning. So when you go in reverse, it makes like a kind of whirring spaceship sound that I really don't like and wish you could get rid of. One of the cool things that you can do with it is a feature called Megaphone that lets you talk through this microphones in the car, and it projects it outside, so you can, I guess, talk to people outside. And then you can also play some of the horn sounds through it. You can also change the sound of the horn to a bunch of like pretty irritating ones, but you know, it's there. The boys have found that incredibly hilarious, for what that's worth. The nice thing about being in here though is the autopilot makes traffic much more manageable. So in the standard variety, without having to pay for the extra enhanced autopilot or full self-driving, you basically just get lane keep and automatic distance control, the cruise control, which is great for driving through traffic like this. So I was able to put that on and of course keep my hands on the wheel and pay attention to what's going on around, but the car basically took care of driving itself throughout that, which made it much better than having to drive the big SUV and stop and go traffic. And it was pretty bad traffic for about 30 or 40 minutes or so. So definitely very happy to have that feature. One of the best things about the Tesla for sure. That in any electric vehicle, having just the great acceleration, the regenerative braking makes it so much more comfortable to drive and stop and go traffic like this. But now at least it looks like we are clear to go, and as I say that, of course, a million brake lights in front of me. Oh, aggressive braking from autopilot, but probably actually needed it. And let's see, right now, oh, okay, cop pulled another car over, so everybody has to stop. Yeah, actually a drive like this makes me miss Waze and being able to see where the traffic stops are and hazards and things. It'd be nice to be able to have that within the car, or have it through CarPlay, which of course Tesla doesn't let you do. One very minor difference that I noticed is the headrests here are now magnetic rather than clip-in. Pretty strong magnet, but I don't know if that really makes any difference at all, but when I first opened that up, I noticed it. I think the little mirror flap covery things have always been magnetic, so that's the same, but the headrests themselves now close with a magnet. Doesn't seem to be an issue. It's very strong, and it feels about the same as if it were a physical clip. Yeah, and other than that, really the biggest differences over time for the Model 3 have just been the price increases. So back when I bought the standard range one, it felt like Tesla was really moving toward their vision of having a super affordable sedan car kind of for the masses, but that's continuously gone up, and now it seems like their focus is much more on the more premium lines of the long range, and with that the prices have gone up considerably. So I think even since I ordered this car, the price has gone up by somewhere from $6,000 to $8,000 depending on exactly which week it is that you're watching, and that was only about 4 months ago, which was after a couple of price increases. So it continues to go up. It seems like it's probably going to keep going up over time. There's so much demand that I think they're just going to keep increasing the price as long as they have demand. But at some point, you know, it really does become more questionable about if this car is worth it. I guess with gas prices right now, with how much we're saving driving this, it is paying off. But you know, if it doesn't continue going up, or the prices for the car itself keep going up, that definitely becomes more of a question. But I'm very glad we've got it now. It's actually leading us to probably keeping the Model Y quite a bit longer than what we were initially intending. Oh, and of course, one of the best features that Tesla continues to have, at least the one that the boys absolutely love, is the emission testing mode, which does this. Who was that?
I did that.
So you can pick which seat it sounds like it's coming from because of the surround sound speakers in here.
Oh, it's my seat. That's my seat.
Always gets a laugh.
Do it to mine again, please.
All right, no, we're done with that.
You only did mine twice. There's still more. There's still more.
All right, so that's everything that I've noticed in the first 2 weeks of having this car. Largely the same as the old 2019 standard range, other than of course the drivetrain and the power, the range. But it's nice to have a new car again, one that doesn't feel quite so used and beat up. The boys have been enjoying it, and we've had a great time already using it, and very happy that we stayed with Tesla and continue with EVs. We'll see what we end up doing in the longer term, but for now, at least this one's here to stay for a while.
I see a boy.
And certainly enjoying it to date.
The boy is
Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions about it, I'll probably do another review at the next major milestone, either time-wise or mileage-wise, and also report back on how this road trip goes. For now, thanks, and catch you in the next one.
Daddy, look, Dad! Look!
What? Oh yeah, a jet ski.